you see?
It shows everything from the moments leading up to the stabbing, to the medical response, to then the beginning of the police investigation.
Okay, and it lasted several minutes is what they showed you.
It did, about 30 minutes.
Okay, so let's start in the beginning now.
You don't hear the sound at first, just the timestamp blinking in the corner of the black and white footage. It's a grainy shot from a suburban parking lot, dated just 2 days before Austin Metcalf was killed. The woman in frame moves casually, almost unbothered, pushing open the door to a local hardware store. But as the prosecution pauses the video in court, all eyes turn toward her. It's Karmelo Anthony's mother. You're sitting in that courtroom as the air thickens. This isn't just circumstantial anymore, this is a visual thread linking her directly to the timeline of the murder. In the footage, she walks to the counter and slides something across. The screen goes static for a second. Then a new clip plays. Same store, same day, a still shot of the receipt. The item purchased? A 7-inch fixed blade knife. One juror leans forward. You notice it because no one else dares to move. The clerk from that very store is in court too, nodding along as the prosecutor narrates what's happening on screen. She paid in cash, didn't use a store card, didn't ask a single question. The implication is heavy. She knew exactly what she came for. In the gallery, you can feel the Metcalf family freeze. A mother clutches her son's sweatshirt. Someone whispers, "That's her." Not in disbelief, but in confirmation. Karmelo himself stares straight ahead. His jaw doesn't move, his hands don't twitch, but his eyes look like they're seeing this for the first time. Whether that's true or not, no one can tell. And now people are asking, if she bought the weapon days before the killing, how long had this plan really been in motion? Would you believe your own mother was capable of this? You're watching as the prosecution calls their next witness, a digital forensic analyst from the state. She walks in holding a sealed manila envelope, which she places gently on the stand like it contains a bomb. And in a way, it does. Inside are security logs, location pings, and time-stamped cell tower data from Karmelo's mother's phone. As she begins laying it out, the picture becomes clear and chilling. Her movements, the analyst says, line up exactly with the footage of the hardware store trip. Not only that, but the data shows she drove to an empty field just hours after buying the knife, then circled back toward the Metcalf neighborhood the next morning. You can almost hear the click in people's heads as the timeline locks into place. But it's not just the GPS data. The analyst pulls up an image on the projector, a text message recovered from a deleted batch, sent the night before the murder. It reads, "It's taken care of. He won't be a problem." The room collectively stops breathing. The defense tries to object, saying the message could have been about anything, but the prosecutor is ready. She brings up a second message, sent from Karmelo's father's phone 17 minutes later. "Just make sure there's no mess." The implication is devastating. The judge doesn't speak. He doesn't have to. The courtroom has already decided this isn't coincidence. It's choreography. You glance at the jury again. One of them has started taking notes for the first time. And now people are asking, how deep was this coordination? Was Karmelo just a pawn or part of the plan? Would you want to know if your parents were orchestrating something behind your back? Or would you rather stay in the dark? You're sitting in the courtroom when the footage is finally played. The screen flickers on, and the timestamp in the corner reads 8:42 a.m., the morning of the murder. The location, a suburban hardware store, 3 towns over from the Anthony residence. The woman walking in looks calm, almost too calm. She wears sunglasses despite the overcast sky, and she moves with purpose. Aisle after aisle, she scans the shelves until she finds what she's looking for, a tactical-grade, fixed-blade knife. It's not just the purchase that shakes the courtroom, it's the preparation. She grabs gloves, bleach, and even a roll of tarp. Not a single item is purchased accidentally, and when she gets to the checkout, she pays in cash, exact change, no receipt. You hear murmurs ripple across the room. One woman gasps and covers her mouth. The clerk from that store takes the stand next. He remembers her. "She didn't talk," he says, "just pointed. I thought it was weird, but it's not illegal to be quiet." The prosecutor paces slowly. "And how often do customers buy that particular knife, bleach, and tarp? All together?" she asks. "Almost never," the clerk replies. But the most haunting part is what happens after. The surveillance system outside the store captures her pausing in the parking lot. She doesn't rush to her car. Instead, she stands still, staring down at the bag in her hand, like she's rehearsing. The footage ends. No one claps. No one coughs. Even the defense looks like the air's been knocked out of them. And now the public is asking, if this isn't premeditation, what is? Would you believe that was just a coincidence? Or does it look like a plan to you? You hear the door creak open and all heads turn. A digital forensic analyst walks in, holding a laptop like it's loaded with explosives. The judge nods and the lights dim. What plays next isn't a video, it's a screen recording. Messages, dozens of them. Texts retrieved from a deleted cache on the mother's phone, all restored by the tech team. The timestamps show the messages started a week before the murder, and what they reveal is chilling. "I'm not scared of what comes next," one text reads. Another, "If they push me, I push back. Harder." But it's the thread from the night before that draws audible gasps. "Window unlocked. He'll be alone. Be quick." You feel a chill run through the room. The judge's eyebrows furrow. The defense tries to object, but it's too late. The words are on display for everyone to see. A message from the father reads simply, "Wear gloves this time." The prosecutor doesn't need to say much. She just lets the silence do the talking. You watch the jury. One juror closes their eyes. Another shakes their head in disbelief. A third scribbles something down furiously, likely the time, the quote, or just a single word: guilt. The defense attorney rises, visibly rattled. "Context matters," he insists. "You don't know what those messages refer to, but the damage is done." Everyone in that courtroom is thinking the same thing. If this wasn't coordinated, then what was it? Reporters outside are already calling it the digital smoking gun, and inside, you feel the weight of the case shift, as if those messages just tipped the scale. And now, the world is wondering if the parents really planned every step. Was Karmelo involved too? Would you even believe your own child if they were the last one who saw the plan unfold? The footage switches again, this time to a grainy security cam feed from the hardware store. You see her enter wearing dark sunglasses, a hoodie, and gloves despite the warm weather. She doesn't speak to anyone, doesn't browse. She heads straight to aisle 9. You're in the courtroom, watching with a lump in your throat as she scans the shelves, reaches up, and grabs the exact knife model that was later confirmed as the murder weapon. The prosecution pauses the video and zooms in on the timestamp. 7:42 p.m., less than 24 hours before the stabbing. You hear murmurs ripple across the benches. The Metcalf family can't look at the screen. Austin's mother is turned away completely, shoulders trembling. A member of the Anthony family closes his eyes and exhales through his nose like he's holding in a scream. The prosecutor clicks again. The next clip shows her at the checkout. No words, no questions, just cash. She exits in under 5 minutes, but then comes the final blow, a freeze frame from the store's parking lot camera. She pops the trunk, and for a split second, you can see the other parent in the passenger seat. He's looking down, texting. That moment triggers a reaction in the courtroom, like you haven't felt yet. Someone whispers, "That's it." One of the jurors shifts uncomfortably. The defense team scrambles for a new angle. The prosecutor just leans into the podium and says, "They didn't act out of fear. They acted with purpose." You watch as Karmelo keeps his eyes on the screen, face blank. But his hands are shaking, not subtly, visibly, and everyone sees it. And now, the question spreads from courtrooms to social feeds. If the timeline's this airtight, how many more receipts are out there? Would your alibi hold up if cameras followed every step? You barely hear the courtroom door creak open, but everyone turns. A digital forensics expert takes the stand next, holding a printed spreadsheet, thick columns of phone pings, GPS data, and digital receipts. You lean in. He's methodical, calm, too calm, considering what he's about to unveil. He begins with a phone tower ping at 8:02 p.m., placing both Karmelo's parents less than a mile from the Metcalf home the night before the attack. He clicks to the next slide, a rideshare receipt. The app shows their route. Drop-off point? A block away from a side alley behind the Metcalf's house. You feel the room tighten. Then comes the surveillance footage from a traffic light. The car pauses at a red. Inside, you see them. No arguing, no panic, just stillness. One looks down at their phone. The other stares straight ahead. The expert continues. At 8:37 p.m., the suspect's phone is manually turned off. Location services disabled. Messages stop. Not even background app activity. People shift in their seats. It's the silence that says everything. The prosecutor's voice cuts through the tension. "Ladies and gentlemen, this was not a moment of passion. This was calculated absence." From the corner, you see someone from the jury shake their head. just once, as if they can't believe what they're seeing anymore. And then, one of the most damning lines is read aloud from a deleted message recovered off the device. Wait till it's quiet. Walk slow. You watch Karmelo bury his face in his hands. You can't tell if it's grief or realization or both. And now the public's asking, if your digital life were dissected like this, what secrets would you be forced to relive? Could you explain every silent hour? You're holding your breath like everyone else when the courtroom clerk wheels in the final piece of evidence, an audio device recovered from the Metcalf family's ring system, previously thought to be corrupted. But now, it's restored, and what it captures is chilling. The judge gives a stern nod. The bailiff presses play. You hear faint footsteps, a car door shutting, then whispers, unmistakably, two voices. A woman says, "Not yet. Lights are still on." A man responds, "You said 10 sharp." Then silence. 3 seconds later, metallic clinking, a faint click. And then, almost inaudibly, "Go around back." You're not alone in feeling the chill run down your spine. Jurors glance at each other. One scribbles something down, fast. Karmelo looks up from his palms, staring blankly ahead, lips parted, but saying nothing. The audio cuts out. No final scream. No confrontation. Just the eerie stillness of what didn't happen, but almost did. The prosecution rests. Outside cameras flash like lightning. Protesters shout. Reporters bark questions no one wants to answer. Inside, the defense has gone quiet. No one rises to object. No one moves to reassure the Anthony family. Even their attorney simply lowers his head, hands clasped, as if praying or bracing for impact. You feel the gravity in your chest, because if this was all premeditated, the apology tours, the fundraising campaigns, the innocent pleas, all of it was a mask. And now the world is left asking, if this was the plan all along, how long had they rehearsed it? Would you have caught the lie before it was too late?